for being here on a Friday. We changed it around a little bit, changed the webinar. Usually we do it on Tuesdays, but I appreciate you including us in your run up to the weekend here. Because today we wanted to announce a new feature that we just launched last night, and something that many of you have been asking us for a while. So I've got Mike and Aaron and Thomas on here with me. I saw Josh and Mike in there. So the whole team's here. We're here to answer questions along the way. So feel free to jump in as I go through here with questions. Before we start, I just wanted to mention that Mike and Aaron and I and Josh are all going to be in Seattle next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for MozCon Local. So if any of you are in the Seattle area at that time, let us know. So we'd love to meet up with you. We're going to be there for the conference. Aaron and Mike both have a couple of different speaking slots. We have a booth there. It's a really cool event. I've been there many times, and it's a great group of people, both digital marketers and also some corporations, and always a good time. So if you're in the area, please let us know. All right, I'd love to see you guys. It's always fun to meet up, person, face to face on these things. So, all right, so let's get started. So what I wanted to announce today, we finally are launching SMS Feedback Requests. We've worked really hard on this feature and taken a lot of input from you guys as well. And I'm really excited with how it's turned out. I mean, we put our time in on this to try and consider all the different ways this could be used, and here we are. So we've got it launched. We turned it on last night. We've been testing for a while, and I want to show it to you guys today. Just give you a feel for what's involved in it. So real quick, the benefits we're expecting to see from SMS is, just an additional way to reach customers. There are a lot of customers that can only be reached via SMS. I've talked to many of you who have businesses that said you wouldn't even have the email address, but we do have the mobile numbers. And then other customers, as you know, they prefer SMS. I've talked to many business owners that said, I can tell you who's going to respond to an email and who won't, and who will respond to an SMS and who I need to hand a printed card to. And it's funny, you kind of get to know your customers, and you know that different customers have different communication preferences. And so SMS is a popular one, as you know. The other benefit to SMS is that it has something like a 98% open rate versus 40 to 50% with email. So, and keeping in mind that, we're only sending these SMSs to existing customers, so they know about you already. So the open rate's much higher, which means more feedback and more reviews. And then if you're a reseller, it gives you more options to be able to go back to your customers and, and talk to them about more packages, more ways to reach their customers. So a lot of benefits for SMS. Let me show you how it works. What I want to do is jump in and give you a little tour and show you some of the things that we worked on here. So give me a second to get this started. All right, so I am in the customer dashboard, and what I want to show you first is how you would turn on SMS. Like right now I'm in a particular dashboard. Let me just back up to the business dashboard here and show you all my business locations that I have. And if I wanted to turn on SMS for a particular business, then I would go into my account and go into account owner details. And from here, if I scroll down, you see a list of all of the different businesses, and I can hover over this package and I can set it right here. So it's very easy to switch on a location by location basis. You can also, down below, you can also set it, say, hey, any new businesses that are created, I want it to use the Pro package. And I'm going to talk about the packages in a moment, but the basic package is essentially what our current package today is. The Pro package contains SMS. They're actually called plans now, but they I'll explain those in a little bit. I just want to show you this is how you would get started and where you turn it on. So I've turned it on already for this business. I'm going to go in here and show it to you. And here's my customer list. So I'm inside of my location, and the first thing I want to do is go to settings, and you'll see a new settings tab for SMS. And this is where you get to turn on, basically customize your message, right? And so we have a nice little preview over on the right-hand side, and you can send either regular text messages or you can include an image. Now, sending one with an image basically uses an additional credit because there's an additional, carrier charge with the provider to send the image, but it's a nice way to provide your logo or a picture or something and personalize, but it's not required, so it's just totally up to you. If you want to use the image, you can choose it. If you want to turn it off, you just select regular text message. So it's easy to switch between. And this is basically this is like your template that all of your messages are going to use. So I'm going to go with image here and show you that. And then show you how you can just choose a new image anytime if you want to change it. Again, if you don't want to use the image, just select regular and then it turns off and it won't be sending the images anymore. With image enabled, we've got an editor, a little editor here that you can type in your message, and we only have 2 tags that you can use. One is the customer first name if you want to personalize. You can see in the preview I've got, it's kind of puts in the name Jonathan here as an example. And then the other is the business name. And I think it's really important that you include the business name or a logo or both, because otherwise people are going to get this text message and they won't know who it's from. So it's super important to use that. You can modify this message in any way that you want. Right now, we're experimenting with character limits. So what we're finding is that on certain devices, messages could be broken up into 2 parts depending on the size of your message. Right now we have the limit set at 200. I think we're going to be reducing that to 160 or maybe even a little lower because on certain phones, like the bigger, like let's say an iPhone 6s or a large Android device, it's fine. It's not going to break apart the messages. But on some smaller phones, even like the iPhone 6, we're seeing messages over 100 and, well, we're still experimenting with the exact length, but we're seeing certain messages being broken up into multi-part text messages. And so you can adjust that by either one of 2 ways. One is just making your message shorter. We also found that if you include an image, it doesn't tend to break the message up. So anyway, we're still experimenting with that, but I wanted to let you know about that, what we're running into. So there's the message. You may see this part change. That's the only reason I was bringing that up. The other thing that we do is we include your feedback URL automatically. So this is the URL that someone's going to press to leave you feedback for this business. We wanted to make that optional though, so you can turn that off. Let's say that you want to include your own URL. Let's say you had your own short URL that you're tracking separately, or maybe you wanted to send a message without a feedback link URL. Maybe it's just a nice little follow-up message or a thank you. You can do that. You can have control over it, and you can basically turn that off if you want, but we recommend you leave that on because that's the only way you're going to get the feedback from them. The other thing to mention is that we've set it up so that the SMS, it's only going to be sent between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. in your business location's time zone. So we don't want you adding a bunch of customers to the queue and then them getting SMS text messages in the middle of the night. So unless you send it manually and directly, then it'll go whenever. But if you put it in these messages in the queue in automatic mode, then we're not going to send them between those hours. The other thing I want to mention is that it's a good idea to send a test, and we've set that up here where you can just put in the phone number and send yourself a nice little test message to yourself, so you can kind of see how it's going to look. So that's the deal. So I have my message set up here in the settings. Now what I want to do is go into the customer dashboard and show you how it works. So I've added a few customers here with SMS, but let me just go ahead and add another customer just to show you how it works. So basically you enter in the customer name as always. Now in the past, the email field is always required. Now like I said, we talked to many of you that don't have maybe you don't have the email address for the customer, you only have the mobile phone. So now it's one of the 2 is required. You can actually type in the mobile number directly without an email address. I mean, obviously if you have both, you should use them. And then you can set your communication preferences here. So you can actually set email or SMS as communication preferences right there. Then I'm going to, add the customer as before. I could send the feedback request immediately, but now basically add, and that's it. So you can add the customer in this way. You can also import customers just like before, but there's a new column added to it. I want to show you real quick. If you look at uploading a list of customers in the past, just first name, last name, and email. Now we've also had a mobile phone column that's optional, job ID and custom ID. These are things that you don't need to use unless you really need to track additional things related to customers. But now we have this communication preferences column where you can specify SMS or email as the communication preference for this customer. So just so you know about that, we've considered SMS in all these situations. So what I want to do now is send a feedback request over SMS and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and send it for BB8 here. And when I send this, you're going to see a little status that comes back. This status message will change. For example, if you try to send to a landline or phone that cannot accept SMS messages, then you're going to get a different error code back here. So let me jump in and show you. What I need to do is share my screen with you. So give me 1 second here to do that. I've got a cool little utility I can use to share what's on my phone. And so here's my phone, and this is the SMS that I received. You can see the image here and the customer's first name, and it says it's from Peachtree Foods. We've got a short URL in there that doesn't show, get 5 stars or anything like that. So if you're a reseller, you get a nice short URL, and if I click on the URL, then I get to leave my feedback just like before. So I can come in here, leave my feedback. Right now I have this set to the ask for rating only mode. I'm going to go ahead and submit this feedback. And then if you're familiar with our ask for rating only mode, it just goes directly then to the online review ask, or you can leave direct feedback as well from there. So that's where I'm at now. I'm actually going to leave some direct feedback just so you can see where that shows up. All right, so I've gone and left my feedback, and if I come back and take a look in my customer dashboard and we go into BB8, I'm going to show you where that shows up. So here you can see the feedback was received, and we've captured it here. We've got the rating and everything, communication preferences. You can also see in the customer dashboard there's a source icon over here, so it shows you who are you communicating with via email or SMS. So you have a nice thing here. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is that we were thinking in some cases the customer may not press the link. Like, what if they just reply to this? Now they can always say stop, and they can. I haven't been watching my questions to see if you guys have questions here. I haven't been. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, you can reply stop or start or cancel. Those are all handled, obviously. But what if they just reply with some text? So I'll just show you that. We were trying to decide what we would do here. And at first we thought, well, if they just reply directly to the message, then we'll just reply back saying, hey, we can only accept stop or cancel or start. Please press the link to leave our feedback. And then we thought, wow, if somebody was really ticked off, they may not be very happy about that. So what we did is we decided to capture these direct replies. And you're going to get an email alert as a business owner that someone replied. So let's say they didn't press the feedback at all. They just replied directly, right? So we're now capturing those direct replies. So you'll see down here, here's the reply. And we also kind of preface that and say, look, we capture this feedback when a customer replies to your SMS message instead of clicking through to leave you a rating. So for that reason, you can't really share these on your testimonials widget, but at least you know if the customer, sent you something, you're going to get an email alert. You can see it in here. And then you could go back. If they're not happy, you might want to just call them or, get a hold of them. or you can request a rating revision. So you could then request a revision and say, hey, would you mind pressing on the URL to give me a rating? So it gives you, it gives the business owner the ability to still capture those direct replies and act on them. So I see a couple questions. So Greg is asking me, is the SMS feedback URL branded for resellers? So here's the thing that we found, Greg, with the feedback URL. Let me just show you this URL. We started off monkeying around with that, and I assume you're talking about this URL that shows up in the message right here. So we started off with that, and then we decided, well, it's tricky because we want short URLs in here, as short as possible. And there were other issues associated with using the different URLs. And then we talked to our provider about it, and they have their own URL shortening service. So what we decided to do is to use that to collapse the URLs to the shortest possible. If you're a reseller, the URL doesn't say anything to do with Get 5 stars. And if you're not a reseller, it doesn't matter anyway. So it's not a branded URL, but I think it's the best solution, and it's through our provider, which means that it's going to get the best response. One of the things about URLs is that carriers are afraid that too many URLs in a message are spammy. So we wanted to, keep with what our provider recommended here. Greg's also asking, what happens when you hit the plan limits? And can you add more SMS credits to a plan, or only upgrade to the next level? So when you hit the plan limits, it tells you. So you'll see it in the customer dashboard. In fact, let me go back to that, and you'll see that up here we mentioned for February how many credits were used, 4 out of 200. And then you can upgrade to the next plan. And I'm going to talk about plans in a minute, and then I'll answer the rest of that question when we do that. Can we use both email and SMS to reach out? So Zarina is asking, can we use both email and SMS to reach out to a single client? Yeah, absolutely. So you can go into any of these customers, and you can say, you can go in there and just change their communication preference to email at any time if you want to start communicating with them that way. So that's no problem. So we're assuming, the other thing we do is if someone replies stop and they say they don't want to receive SMS anymore from you, then we'll just switch their communication preference over to email automatically.
Hey Don, this is Thomas here. Just a quick.
Hey Thomas.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey everybody. This is Thomas. I want to add something real quick. I read Sarina the question a little bit differently. It says, can we use both email and SMS to reach out to a single client? My take on this is you cannot send both. So you cannot send an email feedback request and an SMS feedback request at the same time, because that would be a little, dare I say, spammy. So we ask you, you need to choose either the feedback request is via SMS or the feedback request is via email. It is not both at the same time. That's kind of read it. Maybe I misread it and I thought it might be.
No, you're right, Thomas. That's probably more closer to what she was asking. Yeah, we don't send both. We'll send one or the other. And that also brings up another point, and that is if you look at the way that our email works, right? You look at these the chain. They have the feedback request, and then the first reminder and the second reminder. We don't do the reminder emails with SMS. You can do those manually, and that's why we gave control over the SMS settings, but we decided, at least for now, that we don't want to continually send SMS to the customer if they're not responding, because the open rate's already so high, right? The open rate's already like 98%, so we're pretty sure they saw it. You can manually send one if you want, but we don't have that automated because we want to be very careful with SMS. So that's another little caveat I just wanted to mention. Yeah, so let's see. Any other questions, you guys? Feel free to bring them up as we come along. I think the other thing is that we're noticing is that you don't have to keep in mind you don't have to send the image, so that those credits that you see along the top, when you send an SMS with an image, it uses 2 credits. SMS without an image, it uses 1 credit, but you'll always see up here where you're at all times, in terms of how many more you have for the month. So, all right, let me switch back if there are no other questions about SMS directly. I'm going to switch back to the presentation here. Just a quick summary. So, you know, we got feedback requests now available through SMS. You can do text only or with an image. You can personalize it with your customer's name and your business name. I would recommend that you do that either with a logo or with the business name. Otherwise, they won't know where the request is coming from. We try to grab the phone number that will be assigned to your business. We try to grab an area code that's as close as possible to your business, so that the phone number that you're using, that the SMS is coming from, is local. Unfortunately, they don't have like perfect area code matches for everybody, so it grabs the closest available. But at least it's not like from New York or something if you're based in, Arizona. So it's relatively close. There's also a test mode, which I showed you, so you can test it out before sending. One caveat about the test mode is that always comes from the same phone number. So that one is not going to use your local area code number. The tests, but the tests are mainly meant for you, like so you can send one to yourself or to someone that you know to say, hey, how does this look, right? We automatically include your feedback URL, which you can turn off if you want. We automatically capture direct replies if they don't click on the URL. And then we do have activity reporting, which I didn't show you, but right now the activity reporting is in the, let me just show you the report. If you go to the customer level report and you export this, you'll see the SMS activity in there. You'll see the results. Also in the customer dashboard, you'll see the SMS in the activity log for a particular person. So I'd be able to go in and look at the activity log on this side to see SMS feedback request sent, and then when feedback was received. So that's just a quick summary of what's going on with SMS. So now let's talk about the plans. With SMS, as you guys know, one of our big goals is to constantly be adding value and adding features to get 5 stars in general. SMS is a big thing for us. We worked for a while on this, and just as a little point of reference, it's about 10 times more expensive to send an SMS than it is to send an email. So there's definitely a cost involved with SMS. The value, though, is great because the response rates the open rates are so high and the response rates are so high, and it gives you another avenue to reach customers. So we're rolling out some new packages, new plans, so we call them, with SMS, and these plans are available now today. And I want to just take you on a tour of those. And I may ask Aaron if he's on to kind of chime in with me, to describe, to kind of take you through the plans. But essentially, our basic plan is what we have already currently today, and that's unchanged. It's $39.95 per location. It has tiers for resellers. All these plans will have those tiers, and I'll share those with you on the website. They're on the website now. So $39.95. The Pro plan is the one with SMS, and that plan is $75 a month. So that includes additional emails and profiles, and 200 SMS credits and some other things that we're adding in. It also has the option for our captive Wi-Fi portal too. So basically, the way we're looking at it now in terms of what are customer profiles, the first line item that you see up there. Really what we're helping you do, the way we're viewing it is we're helping you or your customers build these profiles, interaction profiles with their customers. So inside of a customer record, you see an activity log, you see direct replies and private responses, you see testimonials and ratings that have been captured. You can capture multiple feedback requests for a customer. And so really that's where the value is. We're helping create these rich interaction profiles with your customers. And how are we're doing that? We're trying to add ways. First was email, then the unique feedback URL, now SMS. And so each of these plans kind of comes with different ways to build that. So the Pro plan, $75 a month per location. The Pro Plus plan gives additional emails and additional SMS. So if you have a higher SMS load, you can do that. And then Executive includes 1,000 SMS credits. It includes an insights report, which we're going to be announcing really soon, which allows you to do sentiment analysis and see what people actually dig into the text and use natural language processing to dig through the text of all the feedback and reviews and say, hey, my promoters, who are rating me highly, what are they saying? What words are they using? What about my detractors or people who are rating me lower? What are they saying? And to be able to dig in and do that. Also, we include the Wi-Fi portal with no setup fee in the executive plan. So that's kind of how the plans work. And it will have tiers for these. For as you add more locations, the prices go down. And the thing I wanted to point out too is those pricing tiers apply to all the plans. So, for example, if you had 10 people or 10 locations already on your basic plan, and you wanted to add a pro package, that 10 counts in the discount for any of the packages. So basically, your number of locations drives down the cost of all the packages. I see some chat happening here. Yeah, so so that's how the pricing back. Any questions on how we're doing the packaging or any comments about that? I'd love to hear your reactions to it. Basically, we do have the pricing tiers on the website for how they go down based on per location. If you're a reseller, just let us know, and we'll explain how that all works for you. I'm just going to go back real quick now that I've mentioned this and show this account owner details screen again. And you can see where I get a list of all the locations that I'm managing in this account, and I have the ability to change those packages, right? So I can change those plans anytime right from here. I can also set, if I want all new plans to start with Pro, then I can do that. And I can set the default plan here for whatever I want, or I can go in and change them individually. I can change them up or down. And we also have a little, if you click on this, we kind of have a little summary of what is included in each of those plans. So,
Hey,
question just
I'm gonna.
came in. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I got lost there for a second and I couldn't find my, yeah.
Hey, this is Thomas. Again, I have a great question here from Philip. He noticed that the basic package does no longer include API access. Philip, and for everybody on the call, if you are currently using our API, and if you decide to stay on the basic package, we will grandfather you in. We will not remove the API access from you. This is only going forward for new accounts where we limit API access to the higher packages. But again, if you are using our API today and you want to stay on the basic package, that is no problem. We will not remove API access from you.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. And just to give a little context and background on that, like we have customers using webhooks, and just so you know, when we're using webhooks or some of the other API stuff, that means we're running a particular process on our server just for that account to capture those events that are coming in. So there's a cost associated with it, but like Thomas said, anybody who's, if you're using this already, no problem. You're grandfathered in there. Marco is asking, will you have a package just for SMS? Marco, no, we don't have a plan for that right now because we feel like the package is more than just SMS or email. There's a lot of stuff in there that's intertwined and that's used, and we kind of made the decision it's bigger than just SMS or email. It's sort of like it's like the package as a whole. So I think that it's hard for us just to break out one little feature and one piece of it. SMS touches so many other areas of the product. Chris is asking, I don't see GFS listed in Zapier. We're in there, Chris. I can send you the link. We're in Zapier. We have an action now. We've got a bunch of people using that. For example, they'll use it from another system, like let's say QuickBooks or FreshBooks or a number of other tools they're using with it. Where let's say when an invoice gets created, then it triggers a feedback request and get 5 stars. So that's been published and out there in Zapier for a while. We have 4 shared Zaps published. Right now in the process, we're just finishing up a new Zap that's called a trigger. That means anytime someone leaves feedback for a business that is below a certain threshold, then you can trigger an event in another system. And so, for example, we've had people that want to use it to trigger a support incident in Zendesk or in Help Scout. You could use it to trigger an email in Gmail. There are a number of other cool things where, actions that happen inside of Get 5 Stars would then trigger events in other systems. And so we're in the process of, we have that built and working. What we're doing right now is we're adding the shared Zaps, which basically the way Zapier works is once you have a Zap in the system, you can work with any of the other apps, but Zapier encourages you to build these shared Zaps to give people kind of ideas like, oh, I didn't think about that. I could use it with FreshBooks whenever a new invoice is created to create. And then all they have to do is plug that shared Zap in and they're off and running. So we're in the process of building those shared Zaps, and right now we're building one for Help Scout, which we use. And we're building one for Zendesk, we're building one for Gmail, and then there was one other system that we're looking at. So um, I'll try to remember to send you the link, Chris, after this.
We posted a couple of them in the chat, both the help and the Zap book, so multiple references there for Chris.
Awesome, thank you. Kenny's asking, I'm a bit confused about packages for resellers. Perhaps an example would help. I'm currently paying $200 a month for 10 locations as a reseller. I want to switch 3 of those to use SMS. How does the package work? Yeah, so what that would mean, Kenny, is that your 10 locations, the price that you get, it's hard to show without showing the scale.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things to think through here is, one, you are at the pricing level of your total locations no matter what. So if you have 42 locations and they're all basic, and the 43rd one you go to add is a Pro Plus, you'd pay the pricing level of the 41 or greater locations for that Pro Plus. You wouldn't pay the highest rate, you'd pay the same tier. So if you go to the agency page right now on our website and you scroll down, we have an example just like that written out. But you should only be looking at the line item where your total locations are. So if you have between 17 and 25 locations, you're going to pay 21 a month for basic, 35 for Pro, 47 for Pro Plus. So it breaks down each of those, but we still allow you to roll up all of your locations together, and you pay the line item of where your location total is. Not the first time you do one, it only counts for that column. We allow all of them to roll up together.
Yep. So here's the schedule. So if you had 11 locations, then the Pro would be 55 per location instead of the higher one, or that would be Pro Plus. The Pro would be $42 per location. But so it's the total number of locations you have applies to all of the packages. Isabel is asking, when we add a new business in the dashboard, is it possible to choose if we want to add this business as basic or Pro plan? We are currently a reseller with a basic plan, but I think some of our clients would be willing to have the option to go to SMS. Isabel, that's a really good point. When you add the business, we need to enable that for you. So when you're in the business dashboard and you create a new business, we don't have the ability to select the plan right here. We're going to add that. What you need to do is add the business and then just quickly go over to your account owner details and then look at your list of businesses and then just change it right away. You can just quickly change it for that business right here. So you could just say, oh, they're on basic. I want to make them Pro, and then that's all there is to it. And now you can see that one has been changed to Pro. So it's still pretty straightforward, but I agree. I think it'd be nice when you're adding the business to have that ability. Thanks for that suggestion. And Aaron, thanks for the assist on the pricing. So Thomas pasted the link in, but this is the tiers for multiple locations. So great. Yeah. So if we'd love you guys to try this out. If you think you have a customer or a location, or if your business into SMS, then please give us your feedback, and we're super excited about this, as you can tell. Greg's asking, is there a way to add SMS credits? Right now, Greg, we're right now it's you need to upgrade to the Pro Plus plan, which was at the Pro Plus to get the double the credits. If you've got like a need for lots of credits above that, then you have to talk to us and we'll figure it out. Great, so let me just switch back to the presentation here. So to get started, I just kind of showed this, but just go to account owner details, select the package for the location that you want. If you're signing up as new, then you just, right when you during the sign up process, you can add as a pro, right there through the main sign up process. We're going to have some videos out here soon on this, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's it. That's all we had for today. Please give it a try. Let us know what you think, and can't wait to hear from you guys. And we will be, as always, we're going to be listening to you, tweaking, adjusting, and improving this over time. So I think we've got a nice, solid start at it, and we've got all kinds of ideas for how we're going to take this forward as well. So thanks again, and we will talk to you guys soon.